Hello, Bob Hamilton, welcome. In 1982 in Glasgow, it was still going through a transition in terms of the housing being developed, but particularly housing being knocked down. Where tenements all over Glasgow were being knocked down willy-nilly by Glasgow Corporation.
What are you going to do about it?
Knock them down.
This is the story.
And they seem to always have a policy of scorched earth. You know, you have to destroy everything and start at the beginning. They never had the passion for leaving gems and nice wee buildings here and there to start off a project. It was always a kind of blanket bomb process. But I think I can remember something about this group. But I remember there was a few people who decided they weren't going to have any of this stuff, and one of them was in Denison, which is now and still is the Reid Vale Housing Association. And basically, as all this thing was happening, you had the choice: you could move out to one of the schemes, or you could be put in a big block of flats somewhere. The same blocks of flats, incidentally, that they're knocking down all over the city at this moment in time. But so this bunch of people in Denison, just ordinary working class people, decided that they weren't going to go to the schemes, or they weren't going to start living in blocks of flats. They actually wanted to stay where they were, and so they decided to basically force the corporation to do up their houses. They didn't have a clue what they were doing. They just knew what they wanted, which is really important. To win something, you need to know what it is that you're trying to win. So they set about getting some groups of people together, people who wanted to stay, people who didn't want to stay, and eventually they managed to put a plan together to fix up their houses. And they fixed up their houses from flat to flat, from block to block, from street to street, till they'd finished it. And a lot of the houses, a lot of the places like schools and these sort of like public institutions, they weren't given up to developers, they were used for housing. So you still had mothers could stay there round the corner from daughters. And as I say, the thing's still there, and it actually produced the first kind of people-driven tenants associations, and it's a kind of model that they use all over the UK. And you tend to forget about these things. These were wins, these were substantial wins made, these were models that people built about how you can do things on your own without having permission from councils and everything else. But you need to have the feeling as you want to win something.
I think he finally won by basically grinding them down, and just by basically being persistent and saying no every single time. No, this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it, and no listening to what their proposals were. He had a community, and he was determined 100% to save it.
1,000 homes, and no one was moved more than a few hundred metres from where they'd previously lived. It was the Reid Vale tenants of Glasgow's Duke Street who pioneered the creation of community-controlled housing associations throughout the United Kingdom.
A few weeks ago I got an email from Meadows campaign. We have won was the whole emphasis of the email, and basically it's been about an 8-year campaign to stop the council or developers from building blocks of flats and a bit of green space that kids have been using as a wee learning space and growing space. And so there was a harsh battle to convince the council and the Scottish office probably that it would be a better idea to keep it as an education space for kids and an open space that people can go and talk to each other and different things like that. So the win, and as I'm looking at this email, I'm thinking, I don't know what to do with this. It's so unusual to hear about wins. You know, everything's always, you know, you make certain wee advances, this, that, next thing, and you're just totally unprepared for somebody telling you we've actually won something. And I think that's a big problem, that we're not winning things, and also that we're not remembering what we have won and the things that have been won through the years. A lot of these things tend to go down the memory hole, and they don't. And I mean, the BBC made this programme.
He was determined 100% to save it.
1,000 homes.
But really, we should be making programmes about these things and these wins, where working class people have advanced themselves under their own steam without needing permission from the people who are seemingly supposed to be there to serve them. And there's been other wins, like Kelvin Grove Bandstand was a campaign that ran for 25 years to reconstitute the bandstand in Kelvin Grove Park, which is laying derelict for that amount of time, and the council wanted to turn it into a pub and various other things, or knock it down or whatever.
I've been going to the bandstand since I was a teenager. I was taking pictures at some of the events, and then I started to help organise events as well, especially some of the rallies that we had in the early 80s with CND and Youth CND. The rallies were really well attended. This was the start of the 80s. You had Thatcher just been elected to government, and people were really quite angry. And we had Trident just gone up to the Clyde as well, so people really were quite angry about this. So you got a mixture of people being against Conservatives coming to power, but also it was punk age, it was new waves age and things like that. So it was a great venue for bringing people in to hear about the issues that are going on, but then we also got great music.
So there was a 25-year struggle, and it's now a big, shiny, brand new bandstand, although it's been used for... The general idea was bringing it back into community use, that amateur groups could use it in schools and different things like that. But it seems to have been kind of taken on by the council as another cash cow for making money through big events. But anyway, the bandstand is there, and it took 25 years to get it there, and it was a win. And we also have different groups like Galgale and Kinnan Park Complex. I mean, these are places that were, in terms of Kinnan Park, places that the community refused to give up, and occupied it and turned it into a community space that's been used for quite a long time now. The same with Galgale, who started off as a motorway protest, and then they went on to other things like educating people and doing boat building, and now they have a big training facility where people can go and learn about all sorts of crafts and skills and you name it. And Galgale's 25 years old. So it's important to think about these things. And in terms of the commons, you know, like saving our commons and people and deciding they need to keep these things in the public domain or the public estate. It's all about winning things and creating small achievable aims that we can win, that can help to build confidence, communities and people. And because unless we can see these wins, we just tend to keep repeating, reinventing the wheel and doing the same thing the whole time. And we now have the Spirit of Revolt archive in the Mitchell Library, which is a working class archive that's archiving all sorts of political projects and campaigns and history of working class culture and struggle.
Whatsoever. From my own reading of Noam Chomsky's work, that's his position, and either we do battle, and that...
Illuminating study of the Scottish intellectual tradition from the rest of one. Now these principles are sometimes held to have a regulative character.
So we have a place where we can look at the history of these things, we can check them out, see what happens, see what people did then, and what we could be doing now, and how we could connect these ideas up. So hopefully we'll be able to do a wee bit more of that in the future. Thanks for listening.